You're listening to No Early GGs.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to episode 68 of the No Early GG's FPL Draft Podcast. I am back here with Noah, and we are actually mid-game week right now, and we are playing each other, which we forgot to cover last week because we were covering 2 game weeks. So how are you feeling this mid-game week, Noah?
Well, these mid-game weeks, they don't really count for much. I think it's like half a point if you win or something. But yeah, it's hasn't been off to the greatest start. We're recording this after the Wednesday games. I think there are like 7 games, 6 games on today.
Yeah.
And they just ended about an hour ago, and could have been better for me. I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, I mean, you at least still have these 3 Newcastle players that are staring at me and are kind of scary. Uh,
Good.
good.
Yeah, I need an absolute masterclass from Newcastle and Ward
Ward,
Prowse.
which he's capable of doing that against anyone. So I don't know. A
Hmm.
little. I've got I feel like I'd feel a little bit better if Pickford or if Pope was not out until April now, which we can get to.
Hmm.
But so I have Pickford uh playing in goal against Newcastle, which should be fun. All right. We do you want to cover the our game week 2 game weeks ago now or no?
um, yeah, I think that was a positive game week,
All
if I
right.
can
So
remember correctly.
how'd you do in game week 14?
Oh wait, no, we don't even have to. Maybe we should just skip it.
How was your game? I'm looking at his team. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I will actually go through this because this is a hilarious, uh, I guess, outcome for me. I hit, I don't know if we can call it the perfect average,
Yep.
but not a single one of my players scored more than 2 points.
Wow.
Very, very consistent across the board, except for Ward Prowse and Matty Cash got me one. And I kept Lascelles on the bench, who would have been my only player to get more than 2 points. So that did not really end well for me.
Yeah, I ended with 34 and Kudus was the main guy. Pope got his clean sheet, but that's because he went off injured. Actually, man, you didn't score anyway, but yeah, Pope got the clean sheet and then got red flagged. Matip didn't get a clean sheet and also got red flagged. Wow, I had 3 players red flagged in the middle of the game. And then I had
Mm.
Christopher Ayer, who got injured in Brentford's warm up and is now expected back at the end of January. So
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
yeah,
That's
so
tough.
hopefully these players that I've picked up this game week don't get injured soon. Uh and that would be who did I pick up new for this game week? Semedo, and I re-picked
Mm.
up Ward as we discussed previously.
Hmm.
Who didn't keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth, so he's immediately getting out of my team. But we'll talk about Palace first, which is a great transition because we will be covering game week 16 now, which it starts on Saturday, December 9th. So waivers are on Friday morning. We'll start with Palace versus Liverpool. Palace just lost 2-0 to Bournemouth. Liverpool beat Sheffield United 2-0. I don't know. The Palace defenders, I feel like I had vouched for them for for the previous month. And now they have Liverpool and then City. So I'm not trusting anybody on their team other than Olise and Eze. Are we on the same page there?
Yes, but is Eze back? I know he was
Yeah,
injured.
I kind of meant when he's not injured. Well,
Okay, yeah.
let's see what his flag says these days.
Yeah, but I mean, even before the game today, I kind of had a feeling Bournemouth was pretty hot and Palace has not been doing great. So, yeah, could have seen that coming. If only someone warned you, Cam, about those Palace defenders. And I didn't
You,
even know we were playing each other. I was just doing you a favor, you know?
yeah, yeah, you tried your best. On the Liverpool side, I did mention Matip's injury. It looks like Konate started. Gomez also started. So I think that's
Instead of
something.
Simicast.
Yeah, I think that's something to keep an eye on as we get into these game weeks or weeks rather where there's multiple game weeks in it. I feel like we'll see Gomez and Simicas rotate a little bit more than we would expect for a non left back playing out there. Let's actually check Robertson's flag real quick. Also, end
Ooh,
of
feels like
January expected
Cam.
back. So I think depending on what Matip's flag is, which says unknown return date, I feel like Konate is pretty set, and then Gomez and Simicas will rotate on the left.
Yep, I'm with you there.
I feel like Liverpool's front line, there's not much to say. Like those players are mostly picked up, but if they didn't start this last game, they'll probably start the next one, like Nunez, who came
Yeah,
in.
Darwin did not start, but he had that assist in
Yeah.
stoppage time. So, yeah, I mean, Darwin's one of those players where even if he doesn't start, I'm not worried. I think he probably scores more, gets more assists coming off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Let's move on. Next, we have Wolves versus Forest. Wolves coming off a 1-0 win against Burnley, and Forest just lost 5-0 to Fulham.
That
So
was, yeah.
it was crazy. I feel like I had slightly vouched for Forest defenders. Maybe I should stop following fixtures as much. Because Forest gave up 5 goals to Fulham, who I had notoriously been hating. Andres Pereira, I think, got 2 assists after I dropped him. We
I
can talk
mean,
about Fulham later, but how do you feel about Forest now with your Gibbs White?
well, I mean, Gibbs White didn't start today. So he was a victim of the double game week, which I didn't expect him to be one of those, but alas, he was. So I'm thinking they just didn't start off on the right foot, not having Gibbs White in there. So that's something that they'll probably never do again. No, but I mean, Forest not looking too great. They've lost their last 4 matches in the league. So I don't know. It's been against decent opponents, I guess. No, not really. Everton beat them last week, and they got crushed by Fulham. And
Mm-hmm.
then Brighton and West Ham were before that. So I don't know. Not too excited about Forest right now, especially against Wolves, who I think have been playing pretty well. Yeah, I mean, I'll let you stick to those Forest defenders, but you won't hear one of their names coming out of my mouth. And not just because I don't know any of them.
Yeah, I picked up Semedo for this Burnley game for Wolves. I think I trust them a little bit more, but I honestly see this game ending 1-1 or something like that, where both teams don't keep a clean sheet. In which case we lean attackers. I feel like Gibbs White is pretty safe since he didn't start this last one. Huang obviously is in amazing goal scoring form, and Cunha always seems pretty dangerous and never really scores. I believe he's got an assist on Huang's goal yesterday.
Yep, that was
Um,
nice.
so I think those are the two main attackers from Wolves I would want when Neto's injured, and I would probably back them on getting something in this Forest game. But I'm not really excited about playing Semedo, especially with the Forest players getting rested.
Yeah, Origi couldn't even do anything today.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chris Wood came off the bench too, so I feel like you'll get your Forest players back for this.
Uh, I don't know. Obviously, not very excited about Chris Wood, but what can I do?
I could hear it in your voice. All right. Next game we have Brighton versus Burnley. Burnley, as mentioned before, lost to Wolves 1-0, and then Brighton just beat Brentford 2-1, which is a pretty interesting game. Did you watch this game at all?
I watched the beginning of it, and yeah, no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, did you see the video of Wisa just straight up slapping Gilmore
Oh no.
and he didn't get any? He got both players got carded. It was great.
Oh, all right. There you go. That's fine. I have Weiss in my other league, and I realized I was kind of happy when he was coming in like the 26th minute, but then I looked. He ended up with like 0 points because of that card. So wow,
Yeah.
that's actually kind of funny.
This is one of the I honestly feel like this game is kind of a little unpredictable. I mean, I think Brighton will win, but they can't keep a clean sheet to save their lives. Do you think they finally keep one against Burnley?
No, what are they like? The one of the only teams that haven't kept a clean sheet all season.
I think so.
Yeah, I no, I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet against Burnley either.
Yeah. We saw some rotation from Brighton. Ferguson didn't start. I think he'll probably start this one. And then, as always, they're always prone to rotation. So for Burnley, if you think they're going to score, who would you rather have from their team?
Oh, I thought you were gonna give me a few players, but well, I'm keeping Jay Rodriguez in there for
Yep.
sure. He has been so consistent for me with those 2 points. Obviously, I had to drop him when he scored, but that's fine. Keeping him there, he seems like he's solidified that starting spot. Um, but that's probably it. Actually, no, there's one other player. I'm gonna forget his name. I mean, I know
Mduni.
his name.
He looks
No,
good.
not Mdooney.
Koleosho.
Mm, Colio, is that actually it? That does not sound right. But Colio
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
All right. I've been talking about him since game week 1. I remember when Burnley played City, he looked good, and I went to go pick him up, but I realized he wasn't a forward, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to do that. I like him. I still don't think I would take a chance just yet. I actually don't even know. I saw him down yesterday. I don't know if that was a serious injury. I think he ended up getting up and finishing it. But he I think is a good player, young player. He's actually born in Connecticut. I saw something today
No way.
to an Italian mother, and yeah, and he actually has played for Italy's, I think, U20s team as well. So he's pretty good. Keeping an eye on him, but not going to take a chance yet. I don't think there's really anyone else. Brownhill actually looked good too. He's
Yeah.
someone I'd consider, but still, Burnley players, they need to prove something before I take a shot on anyone besides Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah, Koleosho is actually their highest scoring player. He came off the bench in this game against Wolves, scored and assisted in the last two games that he started. So I think, yeah, I feel like he's the player to have. He's a midfielder, probably plays a little bit further forward than that, so potentially gets a clean sheet point, but I don't think they'll be keeping any. I will say though that they do play Brighton and then they play Everton and Fulham, so he might be worth a shout if you're in need of a very desperate fifth mid. All right. Next up, we have Sheffield United versus Brentford. Sheffield United just lost to Liverpool. Brentford just lost to Brighton. Buemo went off injured. That's who you were mentioning. That's why Wisa came in. He did score before that. So I think monitoring him is probably pretty important. And that probably means Wisa, who was already going to start because he was rested, will probably start again. And it's dreadful for everybody because it probably means Maupay is going to start again too. He
Go.
I don't know if you watched the end of the game, but there were multiple occasions where he just absolutely did not play the right pass to the left wing, and they like
I'm
actually
shocked.
they got in an argument on the field. It was great.
Oh, classic. That's what he's
Um,
there for. That's what he's good for. We all know that.
yeah, and as much as I hate to say it, like Maupay versus Sheffield United, you could probably do worse than that. And Brentford looking a little bit weaker recently with all the injuries that they have, especially in their back line with Ayer and Henry out. Um, we've kind of been targeting Sheffield. Like, is there anybody on Brentford that you would want to pick up for this game specifically, or no?
Not really. Trying to think. I mean, Mapai, if he's available and need a forward, like you just said, I'll probably start. Probably Mapai's the only one.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
he'd probably be the only one who's available too in most leagues.
Yeah.
Aside from like Jensen, Ben Me, and Boymo Wisa.
Yeah, Me's probably he might be available since he just came back from injury in smaller leagues. He is taken in our league. Yeah, Rorslev is the only other one that comes to mind for me, but he did play basically this entire game against Brighton, so I'm a little bit scared that he plays again at the weekend. Um, and yeah, that's I'm not expecting a very exciting game from these two, if we're being quite honest.
Yeah, nope, not really.
All right. Next up, we can get into Man U versus Bournemouth. We just saw Bournemouth, as we described, beat Palace 2-0, and United beat Chelsea 2-1, pretty deservedly, if we're being honest. Garnacho tried another bicycle kick, which I found hilarious from the corner of the box. But
Why don't you tell me a little bit about that game? I missed Man U, Chelsea.
let's see. Fernandez missed a pen on a very soft penalty call that I feel like he would have hated. So I'm glad he missed it. And then we couldn't stop McTominay. Uh, we kept just losing the ball. When I say we, I mean Chelsea. Just like losing the ball in transition right outside of our box, which is kind of how they scored their first goal. It was all around poor. If you want to laugh, you should look at the Chelsea bench after all the money that we spent. Uh, I know it's due to
Oh, I will.
injuries. I know it's due to injuries, but the bench was pretty sad. Um, and so I guess I'm just hoping for the injured players to come back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'll be taking a look at that. Want to see the highest valued bench out there, so we'll be looking into it. So is this the time where we recommend picking up McTominay? Like, I I don't even know what to think. I was telling my brother the other day, like, don't even bother with him. Like, he'll score a goal here or there, but it seems like it's a consistent thing. He should have had a third. I did see a
Yeah,
highlight where Sanchez had two unbelievably lucky saves against him, but I mean, hey,
yeah.
he should have had a third. But that was insane. Would you pick him up?
Honestly, I was about to ask you the same exact question. I I think yeah. Like if
Yeah.
I'm pretty I think we're both pretty attached to our midfield. So there are some comparisons that we can make. Like he is the top available scoring player in our league right now. Andreas is second. Which one of those players would you rather have?
Oh man. I guess McTominay. I
I feel like
mean,
they're gonna score more, and he gets up the field.
yeah. I mean, he's big. Like he's a big guy. I guess that's part of it. I don't know. I mean, one of his goals is at least a header, right? I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember. Okay, yeah. And yeah, I think I would go for him. The only hesitation I have is just putting everything in Man U. Right now,
yeah,
I have Luke Shaw, Onana, and Rashford.
yeah.
I don't, we don't have to talk about Rashford. You know what? I'm just going to say this quick, but something's up with Ten Hag. I was reading a report yesterday where a lot of the players aren't happy with how he handles a lot of situations. He's stuck in his ways. He doesn't really, adapt to certain circumstances. A lot of the players don't like how he handled Jaden Sancho ordeal. So I think it's time for him to go. I'm just gonna say that it's definitely time. I don't really like him. Yeah, he seems like he really just wants to make his system work and will die on the hill trying. So I'm out. I'm out on him.
You're out. Well, the good news
Yeah,
is Rashford rested for this one, so he'll play against Bournemouth.
yeah,
Better
but he wasn't
fixture.
rested for that reason. He was rested for I don't know. He was just like Rashford, you're not scoring, you're not playing. I
Hmm.
don't. You know what? I'm creating all these narratives in my head, and I don't like it. We just need Ten Hag out.
Okay, but you would rather have Rashford than McTominay.
I mean, yeah, I have
Wow, that
to,
was a
but
long silence.
I know because McTominay has 7 points more than Rashford, but probably a lot less, fewer minutes played. But I'm sticking with Rashford.
Yeah,
Potentially put in a waiver for him though. we'll see how I'm feeling, I guess, after this game week. So tomorrow, but yeah, I'm sticking with Rashford.
Yeah, yeah, I would too. All right. On the Bournemouth end, do we think that they will score against your two Man U players that you have back there?
I think they will. They're hot right now. Bournemouth has been looking good, and let me just double check.
They have the depth to
Yeah.
rotate now too. Like Sinistera started this last game. They didn't really miss a beat. Tavernier will come back in.
Hmm.
Billing will come back in. I feel like if they might not score in this one, but I feel like they'll get some chances. And we know how United are. I feel like they're always pretty unlucky with losing games like this.
Yeah, they'll
So
let up a goal in the first 10 minutes
yeah,
and then end up winning. So that's
yeah.
that's what I'm predicting. But
I think
Bournemouth's looking good.
yeah, I think if I were in your position, I don't know what you're planning on doing. Like I'd probably start like one of them. I don't know. I haven't looked at your other fixtures though.
Yeah, let's see. Really quickly. I know against Bournemouth's tough, but I have Flecken actually, so maybe we'll start Flecken against Sheffield instead of Onana
Yeah,
and keep Luke Shaw in there. Oh man, I can't believe I'm giving myself the same predicament that I was making fun of you for all last season.
you did do
Luke
that.
Shaw and man, you keeper.
Yep, exact same. Okay, let's move on. We have Arsenal versus Aston Villa. So Villa just beat United or City 1-0. Arsenal had a crazy game against Luton. Um I don't know how this is gonna go. I see goals on both ends. I feel like we've
Yeah,
mentioned multiple times, like if you have an Arsenal defender, you start them, like you have Gabriel. But this is gonna be a great game. Hopefully, I have my fingers crossed.
I agree. I think this is going to be the most exciting and probably the closest match of the week. I don't even. I mean, Arsenal just they look dominant. However, I mean, I guess against Luton looked pretty good, so it was kind of tough. Trossard should have had a goal or
Mm-hmm.
two
Yep.
yesterday. It looked like Arsenal was getting unlucky, but Luton played some solid defense. And I mean, that was just an unbelievable way to end it. And it was a great, just like a great combo play by Arsenal. And as soon as that ball got crossed in, I think was it Zinchenko or Odegaard?
Mm-hmm.
It, I knew someone was getting out. It was crazy. It was an exciting game. Unfortunate for Luton, but that was great to see. And then today, actually, the one correct decision I made was not starting Stones, and I knew he would start, but I had a feeling Villa would score. So I'm going to give myself props for that. But yeah, Villa is looking good. I can see goals on both sides in this. So maybe don't start an Arsenal defender if you have options. I definitely wouldn't if I have the availability to, you know, swap first for a better matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I guess I can toss some comparisons your way then. So Arsenal defender against Villa or Brighton defender against Burnley?
Oh, wow. That is a good one. Hmm. I think I'd go with the Brighton defender.
Really? Honestly, I feel like they've got to get a clean sheet at some point.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I don't want it to be against Burnley, but maybe some of that bias is coming out.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
could,
what
yeah.
all right, what about Wolves versus Wolves defender or Nottingham Forest defender in that match between those two?
But I'd go Wolves.
So Wolves defender over an Arsenal defender against Villa. Sorry, I worded that
Yeah.
question so poorly.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't sure. I would
Yeah.
start a Wolves defender over a Forest defender or an Arsenal defender
Yeah. What about
and over a Brighton defender.
okay. Nice. Wow, we should do this more often.
Well, I think you should, I don't know, maybe keep Semedo. Or do you want to just trade him to me?
Dude,
We'll get a
there are other
we can
Wolves
get a
defenders
little.
available.
All right. Well, Then give me Sameda and you pick up your boy 8 Nori.
He's injured.
You should pick him up anyways.
Yeah, he actually texted me. He's not going to play next game.
All right, fair enough. But no, every time I see like Kilman back, I don't, no interest in Kilman. I think Semedo's the only one. Or
Yeah,
wait, who started on the other side? Was it
Hugo Bueno.
Bueno?
Yeah,
Yeah, Hugo Bueno. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna look into that actually because a Wolves defender might just give my team the boost they need. Because for some reason, I had Matty Cash on my bench, third in the third position, so I didn't even want him to come in, but he didn't even play. So
yeah.
hopefully that was just
That's a rest thing
well,
for
I don't
sure.
know because he only played 16 minutes against Bournemouth last week, and he was taken out at half against Tottenham. So I don't
It,
know. I'm a little worried about that, but
I think he was kind of injured and then they didn't play him as much. I have a feeling they were kind of like rotating people against City uh to have a more defensive lineup, and they might start all of them against Arsenal. Like Diaby hasn't been playing either.
yeah,
Um
that's true. Okay, you're right. I didn't even mention that to my dad. I was like,
yeah.
"Did you see that?" Had to rub something in his face. I did beat him last week, or last game week. I want everyone to know I beat the father-son derby.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I'm expecting like all attackers I'd start, as we already questioned the defenders. Like I'm not starting Villa defenders either. So Watkins, Diaby, those are the main two from Villa I'd play, and then Douglas Luiz, obviously, because they can always win a penalty. And then we all know the Arsenal attackers, and Havertz is one of those now, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's looking good, and Declan Rice too. He's
Oh, that's a. Would you rather have Declan Rice or McTominay
ooh,
as a fifth, like
wow.
more of a defensive mid, but still scores?
I think honestly, I think I'd rather have McTominay.
Really?
Yeah, because Rice, I mean, I just think he's a great player overall. Probably one of the only summer transfers that lives up to that 100 million plus
Yeah,
price tag. But goals, I guess, like attacking threat, I think McTominay is more of an attacking threat than Rice. Rice will just have those last minute game winners. He's had two of those,
yeah,
like literal last second game winners.
yeah.
That's
It's
like
crazy.
that's insane. I mean, great for him, but I think it's yeah, he'll score sporadically, but I think I'd rather have McTominay there.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next closest game this game week. It'll be Luton versus City. Uh, I don't know how much we can actually say about this game. I mean, we talked about Luton versus Arsenal a little bit when we talked about the Arsenal's fixture, but I mean, I from that game I took away more about Luton than I did against Arsenal. They looked pretty energetic and threatening at points. I do think two of their goals were basically just Raya, but I don't think I came away thinking like I wanted anybody from their team FPL wise. Are we on the same page there?
Yeah, I don't think I'd trust anyone still. I saw you didn't even start your boy Carlton Morris,
And he didn't
which
start
was
the
smart
game.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But I don't know. If we're going based on form, Luton's in better form than City right now. So
it is. I think that's actually true.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean City's lost, hold on, they said it, but I don't remember what it was, but I think City's on one of the worst losing streaks they've had in years.
yeah,
They
they haven't
have
won in
not
three
won.
games. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, they played Chelsea, Liverpool, and Spurs. So historically, some of the strongest teams, but still not like City to drop those points.
yeah. I mean, I think we haven't really talked about this one FPL wise, but like starting all City players, basically anybody that didn't play in this last game, you could probably expect to start. They did start six defenders. Rico Lewis was one of those playing more of a center mid role, center attacking mid. So I don't know. It might be time to bring back old Rico Lewis as
And John
a
Stones in the middle. I like
yeah.
that. But also, funniest thing I thought Grealish comes in against
Spurs.
Spurs for like 10 minutes, scores,
Yeah,
and then gets a card, and he's suspended for this game, or he was suspended today, which
yeah.
I didn't even know he played enough
Enough
games.
games to get a suspension. Yeah.
That was insane. I feel bad for him, but I mean, do you think he'll start next week
I feel like he
against
has
Luton?
to. Doku, what is his flag? Doku is yellow flagged, wasn't risked in this game against Villa. I think it really depends on whether Doku's healthy or not if we see Grealish. But Bernardo, Foden all started this last game, I believe. So they do need to rotate a little bit if they want to keep players fresh. And I think against Luton is probably the time that they can do it. I honestly think City wins this game like 3 or 4-0, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Okay. Next up, Fulham versus West Ham. Fulham just put 5 past Forest, and West Ham have not played yet. They play tomorrow on December 7th. So a little bit awkward to report on this, given we don't know how West Ham are going to do or which players are available, but we can focus on Fulham. So they scored 5. I believe it was Tom Kearney, Iwobi twice, and Jimenez twice.
Mm-hmm.
Andreas also got 2 assists. I think Willian got an assist in there too. So, Fulham players, are we back to considering them or not?
Not yet.
Okay.
They're going to have to prove themselves a little bit more. They did put up 3 goals against Liverpool, though, last week. They've been scoring.
Mm-hmm.
In their last 4 matches, they have, I'm just doing the math right, 12 goals.
Yep.
Which is pretty decent. I don't know. I think I just still have something. There's something about Fulham I don't trust.
Not a single thing.
I mean, I don't know. I think if Williams available, I think they're in good form. I would take a shot on him. Andres, I don't know. I really want to see what happens in West Ham, but I think this could be a good matchup
Yeah.
next week.
I think this will be close. I feel like one of these teams is going to keep a clean sheet, and I'm kind of leaning West Ham. But again, they're playing more recently than Fulham, so maybe that will be a factor. I wanted to get your opinion though. So Fulham, it seems like they've settled on 3 starting attacking midfielders: Iwobi, Andreas, and Willian. How would you
Mhm.
rank those 3?
I actually think Iwobi's number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, then Willian, then Andreas. I think, yeah, I mean, Iwobi, I've been calling him out, I feel like for the past like month or something. I was just
Yeah.
waiting for him to crack into the lineup, and he was I think, far and away top scorer for Everton last season. And he kind of went under the radar. Like, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't picked up for, the first half of the season. Then he started picking it up. I think he's good. I meant to say at the beginning, and I kind of just forgot. But if you need a midfielder, I think I would go with Iwobi, and this is a good time to do it. So yeah, scratch what I said before, but I think Iwobi's looking really good, and they're in good form. So
Yeah.
I keep an eye on him.
Yeah, he's really impressed me recently. I feel like before I would have said Willie and Andreas Iwobi. But now I think Willian and Iwobi are tied for me slightly above Andreas. But if I had to choose between having a Fulham player and not having a Fulham player, I feel like I'd rather go a different direction. But you can't always do that. So I would always trust your own eyes if you're watching Fulham and you like what you see. Okay. 2 more games. The next one is Everton versus Chelsea. Everton have also not played yet, and Chelsea just lost 2-1 to Man U. I don't know. I feel like Everton is one of those teams that could give Chelsea a hard time, to be quite honest. I don't think I would play their defenders because Chelsea have been pretty decently, consistently scoring. But I could also see Everton scoring and mainly Calvert-Lewin. But I don't know. Would you play any other Everton players in this fixture against Chelsea?
I wouldn't, but I think I have more faith in Chelsea than you do. I think you just, your fandom's making you worry a little bit, but they I think Chelsea will handle Everton pretty easily. But there is something I wanted to ask you. Do we have any idea what happened to DCL?
I don't know.
Because
He didn't play.
yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't play. He wasn't on the bench. I was so confused. He's not even on like the injury report I'm looking at.
No.
It looks like he was gone.
Yeah, he just vanished.
I feel like he was doing decently well, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
All
No,
right,
it was
mhm. It
no.
says something that he's injured, but I, I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, so
And
he's not flagged anymore in FPL, which means he's probably out for the season based on how they manage their flags. But um, I think it's as simple as like if Calvert Lewin's healthy, you start him, and that's probably about it for Everton. I think the only other player I would even consider, and again, this is tough because we don't see their lineup, and it's a really quick turnaround of 3 days for them, but I feel like Harrison's probably the only other one. Actually,
I
no,
mean,
I take that back.
McNeil.
Ducore,
Oh,
McNeil, and Harrison. Uh, let's actually rank those three. I feel like Ducore is number one for me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Ducore, Harrison, McNeil. That's actually the order in points scored right now.
Okay, I think I maybe would put McNeil over Harrison. I think McNeil takes the corners, and he
Yeah.
scored last week, but he hasn't done much else. I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but I may have played against McNeil. Of course, the one time he scored against me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not too excited about them, except for Decore. I think he's kind of, to me, he's kind of like the McTominay. Okay, Cam, who would you rather have, Decore
Yep.
or Declan Rice?
I think I would rather have Ducore.
Interesting.
He plays a
I
lot
think I
further
would too.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like obviously Arsenal are the better team, but I feel like Ducore is more consistently gonna get into goal scoring positions, so I don't have to like it feels like less of like a lottery ticket for Declan Rice scoring like a 94th minute header.
Yep. Yep. No, I'm with you there.
Yeah. In terms of Chelsea though, I feel like we'll see some rotation. Mudryk started this last game and got an assist. He always seems to create danger, but never really does anything with it. I'm very interested to see how the lineup ends up after the Christmas break, but I feel like we'll see Mudryk start more games. Um, and then Nkunku should be back sometime soon, knock on wood. So
Yeah.
this lineup is going to be changing a lot. Obviously, if Nkunku's dropped in your smaller league, probably pick him up now if you have
Oh yeah.
the bench space. Uh, but other than that, like I think Palmer and Sterling are the only other two attackers, and then Jackson. Obviously, I'm interested to see what happens to his positioning once Nkunku's back. He might be positioned on the bench.
Yeah. I feel like once Nkuku's back, Jackson will probably still get some minutes. And if he can score, I think he'll still start, and Nkuku will come off the bench.
Yeah,
But if Jackson's scoring, I think he's holding on to that spot. But,
yeah,
it has been great for him. So, yeah, I think he'll probably start rotating
yeah,
if he can't perform.
yeah. I'm as the Palmer and Jackson owner of our league. I'm more confident in Palmer keeping his spot with all of the lineup changes that might happen
Oh,
than
yeah.
Jackson for sure.
Yeah. Palmer, got to give Cole Palmer credit. He has proved himself. I think this was his 20th Premier League game.
Yep,
Yep. So, I mean,
and
he's great.
he's got 5 goals this season.
Yeah. as you said, the penalty merchant, but not today.
Not today. All right. The last game. I think this is close to being the most contentious game of the game week. It's Spurs versus Newcastle. So basically a battle of very injured back lines at the moment.
Yeah.
Spurs have been playing 4 wide backs in their back line: Ben Davies, Emerson Royale, Porro, and Udogi. I think this game has a ton of goals in it because of this. Pope is now out until April, which is absolutely devastating for my team, if we're being quite honest, because now I have to start Pickford for 5 months.
You're gonna hold on
And
to Pope, huh?
I mean, what else? Who else am I going to pick up?
Well, there's someone who's available. I think what is it, Jordy Steele?
Steele, yeah. So somebody in our league already picked up Dubravka. We haven't actually mentioned that, but Dubravka is probably the pickup. Newcastle haven't
Yeah.
played yet, but we'll see their starting lineup tomorrow, and people can react accordingly. Um,
Steele
no,
started today.
yeah,
Let up a goal again.
I thought you were gonna mention David Bentley, who started for Wolves.
Ooh, that's right.
I think his name is David.
Um, I don't know.
He kept a clean sheet. Let's look. Yep. He has 15 points on the season. Daniel Bentley. He started their last 2 games, 8 points and 7 points.
Wow. I
I don't
mean,
know.
looking like that old Wolves defense again.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
what was I about to say about so Dubravka. I remember when it was Newcastle, right? Where
yeah.
him and Johnstone were kind of splitting time a few seasons ago. Or Pope.
Uh, I
I remember I don't remember what team these like Pope, Johnstone, Dubravka wasn't Du wasn't Dubravka on Man U for a quick minute too?
I think he was on loan. Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard that Newcastle was looking to possibly sign another keeper. So, oh my, Dubravka, I literally am trying so hard not to call him Dubravka, but that'll just be a laugh for a few of us here. I think they'll probably will sign another keeper in the January transfer window. So
Aaron Ramsdale. I'm
honestly,
just kidding.
yes. Ramsdale should leave because the disrespect is insane.
um, yeah, I agree. Okay, so Newcastle again haven't played, so interested to see their lineup. Uh, I mean they have so many injuries. I don't know how much they can actually rotate between these 2 games, especially up front. Um, Spurs, on the other hand, also have not played, so we're basically predicting absolutely nothing right now, and they also have a ton of injuries. So we've seen Brian Hill start the last 2 games.
Ryan Gill.
I'm talking to the big right now, right here. You've just witnessed it. I'm talking to the biggest Brian Gill apologist I've ever seen. Do you think he starts these next 2 games?
No. Well, it depends on it depends on Richarlison's situation. Like I mean, I don't know what's going on with him, but I feel like if he's fit and healthy, he should be starting
Yep.
instead of Gill. But I don't mind seeing Gill in there. You know, he has a little bit of spice. You guys are all a little bit too hard on him. You know, give him a shot. He's no Cole Palmer, but just give him a few more matches.
All right. Well, I
Been
feel like
injured for a while.
we'll see him in one of these. I feel like they have to rotate him again,
Oh
right?
yeah, and you will definitely see him. It's hard to miss with that head of hair.
Yeah, we'll know when he's in the starting lineup. Yeah, I think we see Richarlison based on how this next match goes tomorrow. I don't know if he's ready to start, but if he's not, I feel like he starts this game, and then him and Hill will rotate. I feel like Brennan Johnson, and Kulusevski are pretty set in the lineup, as well as
Mhm.
Son. My question is, let's add another midfielder to our questions. If with Madison's injury, how do you feel about Lo Celso, who scored?
Yeah. I mean, it's two games in a row too. Lo Celso. I don't know. I mean, he has scored, so it's like, what else do you need him to do? But for some reason, I'm not too high on him. But how about this, Cam? Last thing I can do. Lo Celso, McTominay, Declan Rice, and Decore.
Okay. I feel like Lo Celso is last for me,
Wow, last.
just
Even after
because.
Rice.
You know, no, I think I'll go Rice last, Lo Celso. Um, no, I'm gonna go Rice, McTominay, Lo Celso, Ducore in that order.
Wait, hold on. What or were you starting from
I was
worst
starting
to the
from the
best?
bottom. I was starting worst to best.
Let's say it again, but go top to bottom.
Okay, top to bottom, Ducore, Lo Celso. Actually, are we talking for the entire season
No, just for
or
like the next few weeks.
next few weeks? Okay, Lo Celso, Ducore, McTominay, Rice.
Wait, okay. So after all that, you put Lo Celso at the top now?
Yeah, because Madison's back on January 14th.
Yeah. All right, but
So
okay.
for the next month, I'm gonna be like Spurs are the most attacking, I think, out of all of those
Yeah.
teams. So I want Lo Celso.
All right. Yeah. I thought about it for a little bit, but kind of yeah. I'm gonna have to take a look at all these CDMs, see who slots in best in my lineup. So, but yeah, I think that's the only other thing. I think Kulusevski's looks unbelievable.
Yep.
I love watching him play. And then Brennan Johnson, I've never seen any player look for the pass as much as he does, which is a good thing, you'd think.
Yeah.
But every single time he gets the ball, he's looking to cross it, to pass it. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think he's improved a little bit since his
Forest.
spout on my team
Yeah.
and Forrest, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I think needless to say, I feel like we're not seeing a clean sheet on from either team in this game. And
No,
I'm starting every single attacker based on the lineups that come out tomorrow.
even Brian Gill.
Even Brian Gill. Okay. Anything else you wanted to cover today?
Nope. Excited to see how our matchup ends up.
Yeah, we'll report back next week. I think that's going to do it for episode 68 of the No Early GG's FPL Draft Podcast. Thanks for listening.
And I know everybody watched the Luton Arsenal game yesterday. We thought Luton was going to take down those Arsenal villains. Well, at least tie them, but can never count out those last minute crosses. Please, no early GGs.
You're listening to No Early GGs.